Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So in today's video I'm going to be building a library, but from the offset it actually looks like a church. So originally when Strangerville came out, I'm really trying hard not to say Stranger Things, by the way. Whenever I talk about Strangerville, I try so hard because Stranger Things just drops off my tongue. But when Strangerville came out, I said in a video that I actually had a plan for what I wanted to do for the library, and I hadn't got around to it until today when I built this. And so basically I've been obsessed with watching Pretty Little Liars on Netflix recently. I've already watched through the whole entire program. I've seen all of them, I've gone through the end, but I'm rewatching it just because it's my favourite. It's just my favourite thing to watch. I absolutely love the programme. But in the programme there is this church, and they go to this church quite often, and I always look at the church and it's just such a beautiful building, and I've wanted to build it for literally ages. And so when Strangerville came out and I kind of saw the library and where it is placed in the world, it's kind of placed in the middle of everything. It's kind of like in the town centre. Almost it could be like a kind of town hall kind of thing. But I definitely knew that I was going to build this lot here because it's just so perfect. It's kind of central to everything. It's just, I was really excited to build it, and I'm really happy that I did. But yeah, so it's built off the real church. I don't actually think it might be a real church. I'm not completely sure, but it's built obviously off that church. I tried to implement a few things, and so I kind of did the same kind of tower at the top. I actually used kitchen counters to go around I don't know what it's called, the pointy roof thing is what I'm going to call it. I actually used counters to go around that because I wanted to kind of put a foundation, but I kind of then remembered that we can't have foundations at the top. And so I wanted still to have this kind of raised up bit before it gets to the tower. And so I used some kitchen counters to kind of go around that. And later on I actually tried to put the air vents around it to make it look similar to the picture that I was referencing. But for some reason the air vents wouldn't stick to it. They were just clipping to something that wasn't there, and it was really annoying. So sadly I had to leave it bare, but I still think it looks just as good. But you can see I just flipped it around. So basically the lighting on this lot is really strange. So it'll be the daytime, but it would look like the afternoon kind of time for the front of the lot, and then the back of the lot will look like normal daytime. And so it is the opposites, flipped around, the opposite side to what the actual library that was here was built on. The opposite, it's facing the opposite way is basically what I'm trying to say. And so I did flip it round, but I kind of think I prefer it this way because there is an entrance obviously out the front, and then there's a back entrance as well. And so the back entrance kind of leads into a little park area, which I think is really nice. And the front entrance is kind of it's like a big walk up, and then you can walk out to the back. So I actually think I prefer it. I mean, I only did it because of the lighting situation, but I think I actually prefer it this way around anyway. It was just really annoying when I was trying to build. I was flicking through all the different kind of modes, and it wasn't working, so I flipped it around. But anyway, you can kind of see that I'm moving on and doing the windows and the doors. I actually switch up the windows and the doors quite often. So originally I used a base game door with kind of a blue trim around it, and that's because in the picture that I was referencing, it actually had a dark blue kind of door, but I actually decided to switch it up a little bit. So I went for the Strangerville door. I really like that door, but I kind of wish that it doesn't come with a letterbox. I know that sounds like a really strange request, but I kind of wish it didn't come with a letterbox because I don't feel like it's that commercial. I can't really use it in a non-commercial lot, but I feel with the library might get poached or something, so I thought it was acceptable to use it in this one. But yeah, I do switch up the windows and doors quite often throughout this whole entire build. I switch up a few things. I'll place something down, and then I will find something else, and then I'll switch it up, but we'll get to that in a little bit. As you can kind of see, I'm going around doing a little bit of landscaping. I didn't want to go too overboard with the landscaping. I wanted to keep it clean and just simple, and so I just used some bushes that we have with base game and just kind of went around the lot, and I think it looks a lot nicer than if I was to put a load of flowers and stuff. It kind of just resembles kind of a sophisticated kind of town hall, and that's what I really wanted. I didn't want it to look like a residential lot in a way, so that's why I just kept it very plain, very simple, and I just really like it. I do also add some trees and stuff, but I kind of wish that we got some of the trees that came with the Strangerville world, because I've mentioned this before and I know a lot of people have also mentioned this. we got a lot of new like trees and stuff. I think one of them's called a Jordan tree, but I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but I think one of them's called a Jordan tree. But we've got a lot of trees and just like different cactuses and all that kind of stuff in the Strangerville world, but not in the build and buy menu. And it was really annoying because I wanted to use a few of them around this lot, but sadly I couldn't. So I just kind of opted for trees. I kind of zoomed out and looked at other trees that wasn't from Strangerville, and I tried to kind of copy the kind of tree. I don't know if we actually have them ones in the game either. It wouldn't actually surprise me if we don't, but I hope that they're going to be working on that, because I did see something on Twitter that they're going to try and fix that and maybe do it in a patch update or something like that. I really hope that they do something like that though, like to update all of the stuff that we don't have in the other worlds into the build and buy menu, because it's not just Strangerville that hasn't got all of the objects that are in the world. Like there's some other things around the other worlds that we just don't have access to, and it is so annoying because they are there, you can see them. You can get them downloaded from like content creators, like they're able to like take them out of the worlds, and I mean that's so cool. But like, why can't the Sims team do that? Because I don't then want to use them, because then they'll be classed as custom content, which at the minute doesn't actually make a massive difference, because for some reason all of my builds are being classed as custom content on the gallery, and it's so annoying because I don't use any custom content in my builds. Like if I do a build, I will never use custom content because I want it to be easy for you to download if you like it. I don't want you to go and have to open up a new tab and then have like 100 different links and all that kind of stuff. So I never use custom content in my builds. I have custom content in my game, but I just don't use it. And it was fine for a while, and then maybe about 3 to 4 weeks ago it started flagging all of my builds as custom content. I know I have a few bits and bobs in my build and buy menu that is custom content, but it wasn't doing it before, and for some reason something just like triggered it, and now all of my builds are being classed as custom content, so that's really annoying. But if you do want to download this, make sure you have the custom content tab on in the gallery, because like I said, they are all being flagged as custom content, but I don't use any custom content. Like I just said, I feel like I'm repeating myself now, but I don't. It's just really annoying. It's just like it's a problem that I think a lot of people are having as well, so it's not just me, which is kind of nice. So I don't feel alone in this problem. I know a lot of people have it, so hopefully it will get sorted out soon. But yeah, anyway, moving on. I'm just finishing up the exterior, and here I'm changing up the windows and just adding some and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm actually moving on into the interior, and I finally got to use the bookcase that we got with Strangerville. I haven't actually used it yet, and I've been wanting to use it, but I feel like I just can't put it in a normal residential house because it's too grand. Like it's too much of a like sophisticated staircase. Unless you have like a really fancy house, then it's acceptable, but in the kind of builds that I've been doing, I haven't actually found a place for it. And so I got to use it, and I got to use it in the white swatch, which is my favourite swatch. It's just such a nice bookcase. Like honestly, I would say buy Strangerville for the bookcase and the windows and doors, because the windows and doors that we got in this pack are absolutely beautiful, and there's so many, and they come in a lot of colours, and it's just absolutely great. But anyway, I'm just doing this little kind of entrance counter bit. So this is where the librarian would sit. I actually tried to put a computer on these counters, but for some reason the computer would only go a certain way. It wouldn't let me flip it around, and so I put a cash register there. I know that we can't actually buy books in the library. I don't think we can anyway. We can buy books in the game, but I don't think you can buy it from the library. But I didn't want to just leave it as an empty desk. I imagine that people could come here and they could take a book out, and instead of a cash register, it was like a maybe login system or something, so she could log this person has that book and this person has this book and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just finishing up her little area now, and I'm just putting loads of clutter items. I wanted this to be like a really historic building in Strangerville, and so there's a lot of like police pictures and just little bits and bobs that kind of make it seem like this building has been here for a very long time, and it's kind of like an archive of the whole entire town's history. That's kind of what I wanted to make it. I didn't want to make it like just like a normal kind of library. I wanted it to kind of have some history to it, or at least look like it had some history to it, and so I think I did that quite well in this. But anyway, just moving on now, I'm going back over to like the bookcase area, and I put down some get together desks which I haven't used, or I don't think I've used anyway, down, and I thought that was like a really good fit for this library. They're kind of historic, they look like they've been there for a while. I use the swatch that it came in that looks like a little bit older, so it's not a complete like white wood like the bookcases. It's kind of like a little bit old and rustic kind of look, and I really like that. But I actually changed up the colour of the desk, and I completely changed the chairs, and I completely changed this little area which I'm doing over the other side. So originally I was going to have like two sides to be like one side computer and then the other side computer, but then I actually completely switched up. So I actually moved these two desks to the other two desks, so it's kind of like 4 desks into one. And this little like area that I'm doing over here, I actually decided to make into like a little sofa area, because when I originally was doing this, I didn't think about doing a sofa area, and then I kind of realised that I needed one because it's a library, and so that's what I did. I just switched that up. And also whilst I was doing this, I completely forgot that a library needs some toilets, and so I had to improvise and build a basement, but I kind of feel like it works. And so literally all that's down there is a few sofas, and then not even like any bookcases, just some sofas, and then the toilets, because like I said, I completely forgot to put the toilets in. For some reason I didn't think that toilets were needed in a library, even though that's ridiculous. Of course they are. But I'm just doing this little entrance bit now anyway, and it said on the thing, like the little information, I don't know what it's called, the little information thing for when you have commercial lots, that I needed another chair. And at this point I wasn't planning on doing what I did later on, and so I kind of like added this little seating area over here, which I'm going to do in a minute. And I imagine that maybe it was an extra chair, and maybe some old people like to sit on that chair and talk to the librarian or something like that, and so that's why there is a random chair there. But when I was actually doing this, I thought that the chair that I used in this like little entrance area was the same one as the one that I used on the desk, because they looked very similar, but they're completely different chairs. They came with completely different packs. I think the one I originally used on the desks was from Cats and Dogs, and then the one I placed in front of the receptionist or the librarian was from Seasons. So they were completely different chairs, but for some reason I thought they were the same chair. But yeah, anyway, moving on, I'm just putting some little pictures up. I wanted to have a lot of pictures of maybe people that did something really good for Strangerville, and they deserve a picture on the wall in the library or something like that. Like I said, I wanted it to kind of be like a place that everything that's happened in the town is kind of shown here, like all the great achievements that's happened and all that kind of stuff has just kind of happened here. And so I tried to implement as many photos and just things that look like achievements onto the walls, and just in the kind of clutter areas anyway. But I am just doing the little sofa area now, and so I actually found these sofas that we got with Get Together, and do you know what? They're actually beautiful. I've just never used them. Get Together's been out for forever, but I just haven't used them, and I felt like they were perfect for this build because it's kind of historic. They kind of look like library sofas anyway, and so I wanted to add them in my game. And I actually realised that they come in a 3-seater sofa, a 2-seater sofa, a single like armchair kind of thing, and then they also come in like matching desk chairs or table chairs, which I literally didn't even realise before. And so that's why I actually end up switching up the desk chairs for the last time. Like I said at the start of this video, I switched up a few things in this build. I switch it up for one last time and I actually make it into the matching chairs for the sofas, and then it just kind of ties it all in together and just pulls it all in and just makes it feel all like connected, and it looks similar because it is like similar objects. But I just did like a little child's area over there. I just wanted something for children to do if they was ever to come to this lot. Maybe someone needed to go to the library for something and they had to look after their little brother or something like that. And so there is a child's like castle there, and I chose the castle because it's the most historic one that we've got in the game, and so I just thought that's like the kids area. Obviously there is a park out the back as well, and so I didn't want to put too much like kids objects into this because I was trying to make it as historic as I could, but I still wanted something to do with kids in this lot. But I did also just add a chess table, and I know this is like probably an unpopular opinion, but I want some more chess tables in the game because I always have to use the same chess table in the same swatch, because I think we have like 3 or 4 chess tables in the game, and none of them are in like a really nice modern way or anything like that, and I don't really like any of the others apart from the one that I used in that single swatch. And so it's just the little things that I want. I just want some more chess tables in the game. That would be absolutely great. But now I'm back and doing like the little desk area, and I wanted there to kind of be like a trophy cabinet for all the achievements, all the things that's happened in Strangerville over the years, all of the medals and everything just to be displayed in these cabinets. But I couldn't find a trophy case. I don't think we actually have a trophy case in the game. And so I opted for the Jungle Adventure. They're kind of cabinets, but they've got some like plates and cups and all that kind of stuff in them. But I imagine that they could just be really weird looking trophies. And so that's kind of what that area is. And I just cluttered it up with just some bits and bobs, some like books and more books and photo frames and just little bits and bobs like that, just to kind of make it look a little bit more built in. But now I'm on to the last part of this build, and I'm actually doing the bathrooms. So as I said, I forgot the bathrooms, and so that's why they're in the basement. But I kind of like that they're in the basement anyway, because I felt like they wouldn't have really fitted in with the way that I did the upstairs. But I used the same wallpaper that I did in the upstairs part of this build, and I never actually used this wallpaper. I don't think I've seen it before. I might have skimmed over it. I might have tried to use it, but I've never actually acknowledged this wallpaper. It's so nice. It's from Vampires, but I think that I never use it because it comes in this really like purple, I'm going to say leery swatch. It's kind of like daunting to use it, but it's just beautiful. It comes in so many different colours, purple being one of them, and that's probably why I don't ever go for it, because I don't really ever build anything with purple wallpaper, so maybe that's why I've just never used it. But I love doing builds like this. Like I try and do all different kind of styles and all that kind of stuff on my channel, and doing stuff like this makes me realise how much stuff we actually have in the game, which I've just missed at points. And so yeah, definitely really cool. But I'm just finishing off and doing just like the little hallway bit just by like the toilets, so it's not a completely bare hallway, and I'm just putting some sofas and just some bits and bobs. But yeah, so anyway guys, we have reached the end of today's video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching me build this library that looks like a church. But as always, if you do like my content, then please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next speed building video. Bye guys.